All right, brother. There are two main reasons why your woman does not respect your boundaries. All right. This is crucial. This is game changing. And I need you to sit down and just relax and just process what I'm going to tell you right now. All right. Now, before we dive in, as per usual, go ahead and subscribe to my channel below so that we can have more people like yourself watching right now to be able to build this community where we can have a conversation around these topics that probably aren't being had a lot, right? In this kind of manner. All right. Now, your boundaries are what defines the level of respect that your woman has for you. Yeah, I'll say it again. Your boundaries that you define will give you that respect that your woman is looking or wants to give you. She will genuinely give it to you once you understand the law of boundaries. All right. So it depends on how much how much you give, right? How much you give is really what it comes down to. Your time, your money, your energy, your attention, your love, right? These are all things that you're doing for your woman right now, regardless. And it's part of your duty as a man. So we can't really get around this. But the boundary is what determines the level of respect, right? The boundary in between how much time you're giving, the boundary in between the time you're giving, the energy, the attention, the love, right? The boundary between that is what's going to help you understand. I will help you get what you're looking for. All right. Now, your problem right now, the big problem that you're having right now is that you're telling her, right? You're telling her her boundary and she is not listening. You're letting her know clear as day, hey, listen, I don't like this. I don't, and you're letting her know what's up. And she is not listening to a word you're telling her. She's giving you this negative reaction. She's disrespecting you and she's getting emotional, right? Now, here is your mistake. You're focused only on what you are saying, what's coming out of your mouth, what you are speaking, which only makes up 7% of the effectiveness of your boundary. Isn't that crazy? I'll say it again for you, man. You're focused only on what you're saying, and that only makes up 7% of how well your boundary gets received. So instead, we got to refocus on just two simple things. The two reasons why you're having trouble right now. Number one is your tone of voice. Number two is your body language. These two components make up 93% of how effective your boundary is going to be taken, right? It makes up how successful, how well she receives what you're doing. So, again, be mindful. This is why you're having issues for these two reasons, okay? Now, this is actually not my study. This is actually backed by a guy named Albert Mehrabian, right? And he talks a lot about the other two areas of communication and how your message gets received properly, right? So when you're speaking to her, you're probably saying all the right logical things, but the way it's coming across is not being communicated with your body language and your tone of voice. All right. So number one, your tone of voice. The biggest problem that you're probably doing right now is that whenever you set your boundary and she gets upset, she goes into this high pitched voice, or I don't want to do that, or I don't want to do it, and she starts to, you see how the voice raises upward, then what you do, you match that voice. You go back and forth with her in that voice. But what do you mean? And she says, I mean this, but I don't want it. And now you're matching her energy with going up and raising your voice in a higher pitched level, right? What you want to do is bring your voice back down. And we call this in my community, we call this the DJ FM voice. If you know about this, it's a very low, late night DJ voice. And it's good evening. Welcome to WLIB Radio 45, right? So you want to bring your voice or your tonality back down. Be very aware of this because once you do this, it somehow just triggers her to just calm down, right? Calm down. So if she's going, you go, okay. And you slow your rate of speech all the way down. Think about it right now. Think about your last argument you had with your woman. Think about what happened. Think about how you're going back and forth and your rate of speech, and think about your tone of voice. Think DJ FM voice if you want her to clearly understand what you're saying. Then, number two is body language. Huge. This is actually the biggest chunk, right? I believe it's actually about 55% of your communication comes from the body language. So this is big. Some things you're doing right now, you're probably slouched, right? You're probably slouched, you're probably drooped, and you're not communicating that hey, whatever you're saying is actually of a serious nature or has to be taken with seriousness, right? So you're slouched, you're saying things like, well, well, right? And you're not really there. Or the opposite way, that you're probably more closed off with your arms closed, right? And you're saying this, well, I don't care, and I don't, or you're moving your hands very friendly. Well, are you not hearing me? And right? So you understand how your body language is not communicating something that she can respect, or the words that come in your mouth won't even matter at that point, right? So your job is to be able to articulate your boundaries calmly and clearly, right? So even though you're upset, you're slowing your rate of speech, but you're also, shoulders are back, you're sitting up, your chest is out, and your hands are more open, and you're relaxed and saying, hey, all right, hold on. I understand you're upset. I get it. But look, we can't keep yelling at each other back and forth. If it happens again, then from there, I'm going to leave the conversation. And when I come back, we can have a more calm, relaxed conversation going forward. Yeah. And do you see how I was able to just simply just use my hands and I'm calm, right? I'm open, even though I'm mad, even though I'm upset, which I can't be upset, but I can still be able to articulate my conversation, articulate my words, that she's going to understand it and receive it well. Does that make sense? All right. Again, like I said, 93%, 93% of your communication when it comes to your boundaries is done without even speaking a word to her. She's watching you and she's listening to the tone of voice. All right. So in theory, what this means is that you can actually botch all the words. And if you're speaking in a low tone voice and you're very calm and neutral, I promise you, it will go a further way than having to always find the right words. Because I'll be honest with you, there are days where I don't have the right words, but I know I can communicate properly with my body language and my tone of voice. And she's going to hear me or even understand and respect me because I know it makes up a bigger chunk with my body language and my words. All right. Now, if you're saying to yourself right now that you want to learn these things in details, you want to be able to become a man who is more calm and in control of your boundaries and of your words and the way you're handling yourself, and you haven't been told this, it doesn't matter how long it's been, you've been doing this for, you've been for going about it your way for a long time, and no one's ever showing the blueprint of boundaries and how to calmly state the boundary clearly, then from there, I got you right now, brother. Going forward, I have this new program called the Calm Standard that I've been beautifully blessing my men, my community with. And if that's you right now, and you're saying to yourself right now that you want to learn more and learn more details, listen, go down below, press the link below, and from there, I'll give you all the details about how to get started with me right away in one-on-one, working through our program called the Calm Standard. All right, brother? That's calm, man.